road to the Super Bowl is long and pointless. I mean, what do you think about it?
Super Bowl, please, and step on it.
Welcome to the show. You're one-on-one with Wes the Sports Guy here on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and online all the time at westhesportsguy.com. Make sure you bookmark that site if you want to read the Super Bowl preview, if you want to get recaps of previous weeks in the NFL season, which is just about wrapping up, if you also want previews of the Major League Baseball season, which should be around the corner, assuming the players and the owners decide not to keep going at each other's throats in the media and get a collective bargaining agreement going. I will be having a baseball preview up there at that site, westhesportsguy.com. Get all the video links, social media links, podcast link. It is all conveniently located for you at westhesportsguy.com. This week's episode, as I come back here on the video with YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, is previewing Super Bowl 56. So without further ado, I will give you my preview of this year's Super Bowl.
You play to win the game, but they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it.
This year's Super Bowl features a Cinderella story in the Cincinnati Bengals, who have not been to the Super Bowl since the 1988 season when they lost to the San Francisco 49ers in that Super Bowl. This is going to be their third appearance in franchise history for the Bengals. For the Los Angeles Rams, this is going to be their fifth appearance in franchise history. They are looking for their second Super Bowl title. This is going to be the second time for head coach Sean Mcveigh, as I talk about the head coaches here first. For the Super Bowl preview here on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. Sean Mcveigh of the Los Angeles Rams is looking to redeem himself a little bit after the last time he was in the Super Bowl with these Rams, not the exact same team, but the Rams franchise in general. They were only the second team in Super Bowl history to not score a single touchdown, the first being the Miami Dolphins way back in 1970 against the Dallas Cowboys in that Super Bowl. But Sean Mcveigh with a very good offense, just like he had before the last time he was in the Super Bowl, along with a vaunted defense, which has definitely bailed him out at many times, I should say, in this playoff run for the Rams, with that stacked defense that he has. And then on the flip side, you have Zach Taylor for the Cincinnati Bengals in the Cinderella-type season that they're having, led by Joe Burrow at quarterback. And with a pretty good defense, it's had some ups and downs at some points during the season, but it is solid. It has gotten to where they need to be right now, which is playing in a Super Bowl with Zach Taylor as the head coach. He comes over from the LA Rams when he was the offensive coordinator or quarterback coach, kind of like a flip of the coin there between him and Sean Mcveigh, who was really running the offense at that time. But Zach Taylor was the quintessential offensive coordinator at that time. When they were last in the Super Bowl, it was Zach Taylor running the show with Sean McVay as the head coach. Now you got Zach Taylor going at it against his former boss and Sean McVay there on the LA Rams sidelines. If I had to give an advantage to who has the upper hand here, I give a slight edge to Sean McVay because he's been here before. You've got that experience factor. On top of it, though, Sean McVay has made some questionable calls as a head coach when it comes to maybe challenging when you shouldn't have challenged, saving that, losing timeouts in the process as well. Just look back in that NFC title game. Not a good track record as far as decision-making goes or making adjustments on the fly. Does not have a good track record in that, but the experience factor is in his favor. Zach Taylor having a very good quarterback in Joe Burrow at the helm with a good surrounding supporting cast that he has. The obvious question mark is going to be the offensive line for Joe Burrow, but I'd have to give the slight edge here for the coaching to Sean McVay in this matchup. But aside from the head coaches, that's not really what we're here to watch in the Super Bowl, is any of the head coaches and what kind of adjustments they make. It's about the players. Who are the players that we need to watch and that we're going to have to hone in on here going into this Super Bowl matchup? On the Cincinnati Bengals side, I mentioned the quarterback, Joe Burrow. That's definitely going to be the spotlight. All eyes are going to be on him. Can he still create and make new magic for this run that the Cincinnati Bengals are on right here in the playoffs? And can he do what he did at LSU? Can it be a shootout, a slugfest, you could say, in this Super Bowl between both offenses with what LSU did against Clemson a few years ago with Joe Burrow at college with the national champion at LSU? Now he has a former teammate at LSU, Jamar Chase, the standout rookie, offensive rookie of the year in the NFL. He's going to be a guy you're going to have to watch there in the Cincinnati Bengals. You also have two other good receivers that are bad in their own right. T. Higgins, he's definitely the quintessential possession receiver for the Bengals. And then you also have another good slot receiver in Tyler Boyd. Good weapons all around. And at running back, who could forget? Joe Mixon is in the mix for the Bengals as well. If the offense clicks, everything should fall into place, and that takes the stress off the defense, which is not an elite defense, but it is good enough to get the Bengals to where they need to be, which is hoisting a potential Lombardi trophy for the first time in franchise history. They did so against the Chiefs just a couple weeks prior in holding them to only 3 points in the second half and overtime of that AFC title game. So you could say the Bengals are well within the right to do that again here in a repeat performance against the LA Rams. Trey Hendrickson is a good pass rusher. You also have Jesse Bates, who's one of the most underrated safeties in the league right now. He's going to have a big payday probably. The Bengals have the players and the pieces needed to make a potential upset here, which is what everybody is kind of expecting, even though the safe money is going to go with the Rams. And then you look on the flip side of it with the LA Rams. New quarterback, Matthew Stafford. The last time they were in the Super Bowl, it was Jared Goff. Now it's another former number 1 overall pick in Matthew Stafford, who they traded Goff away to the Lions to get him from Detroit. Matthew Stafford, this is his quintessential moment to be considered one of the elite or potentially Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks. If you punch your ticket and get that Super Bowl title, that would solidify a big chunk of his legacy right there. And then with the running back situation, they do have a pretty good duo right now in Sony Michel and Cam Akers, although if Cam Akers stops fumbling the football, maybe he could potentially get the Rams to a point where they don't have to keep passing the ball 40 to 50 times just to keep the offense moving down the field. But if that's the case, Sony Michel, Cam Akers, it's a good 1-2 duo right there they have right now. The offensive line is solid. It's not great. It is a little bit better than the Bengals on the flip side, whereas the Bengals gave up 9 sacks in a divisional game against the Tennessee Titans, although they did win. Surprisingly, when you give up 9 sacks, you still won the game, but that's a potential problem going into this game with some keys that I'll get to a little bit later on here on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. Bookmark WestonSportsGuy.com. But looking at the rest of the roster for their LA Rams, it's going to be on defense. Everybody's focused on with Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the pass rush. You have Jalen Ramsey there in the secondary. What's going to happen there? Are they going to be able to slow down the vaunted passing attack of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, as I mentioned earlier? How is the defensive scheme going to go about? And then with Matthew Stafford, he does have his fair share of weapons too. Odell Beckham Jr., you also have Cooper Kupp, who was the Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL just recently before the Super Bowl started with the award ceremony. That's going to be a matchup to watch, is to see how the passing games are going to work and if anybody's going to really try to establish the run in this Super Bowl. And as I teased it, what are going to be the keys to the Super Bowl? What's going to be the key to victory for either team? Well, the key for the Bengals, if they want to win the game, it's not just protecting Joe Burrow. We all know that. It's going to be, is there anybody in that secondary that's going to be able to slow down? Not just shut down. I don't expect a shutdown of wide receiver Cooper Kupp of the LA Rams. Is anybody going to be able to slow him down in this game? That's the key for the Bengals. You have to slow down Cooper Kupp if you want to have any chance of beating the Rams in this game. That's the only way I could see a path for the Bengals winning this, is slowing that guy down. If you slow him down, everything else will fall into place for you on defense. The offense will do its thing for the most part, which you have to score points to win games nowadays. We all know this, but the defense is going to have to slow that guy down if they want to have any chance of beating them. And then on the other side with the Rams, what's going to be their key? Well, it's the obvious. It's pressure. If this team can get half of what the Tennessee Titans did to the Bengals in that divisional game of the AFC, they should be going to victory. They should. If the Rams are able to sack Joe Burrow 9 times, or even close to that, and still lose this Super Bowl, we're going to be analyzing this ad nauseum in the offseason of how they ended up losing the game. But that's the key for the Rams, obviously. The pressure. You have to get the pressure on Joe Burrow. You can't do what you did in the NFC title game last week and expect to win this game, because it's going to come down to probably the last possession. You're going to have to get constant pressure on Joe Burrow to put this game away early and keep it that way if you want to have any chance of winning it if you're the Rams. As for my prediction of who I think is going to win this Super Bowl, well, There's a lot of different factors that go into it, and as I mentioned earlier with the keys to the game for each team to want to win, ultimately, my prediction is the Cincinnati Bengals will be hoisting their first Lombardi trophy in the Rams-owned stadium at SoFi in Los Angeles, California. This will be a victory for the Cincinnati Bengals. I have them winning by a final score of 30-24. This will be an MVP hoisting trophy celebration for Joe Burrow at quarterback. He will be the one ultimately putting that final nail in the coffin against the LA Rams with a late touchdown pass to T. Higgins. Of all people, you thought it was going to be Jamar Chase, but no. I predict it'll be T. Higgins, but regardless, a Bengals victory and Joe Burrow winning the MVP as well for this Super Bowl. Hooday. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell below if you want to get notified of all the latest videos posted on this channel, whether it be at YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey. Bookmark westthesportsguy.com. Get all the social media links, video links to YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. The podcast link, it's all there for you at westthesportsguy.com. Read that Super Bowl preview more in depth there at that website for the preview for the Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles, California. Enjoy the game. Great to be back. I will see you next time.